Suspenders are on the hunt.
Woo!
Slow car ahead.
Dead.
Yellow flag, watch out.
Dead as shit. Ugh.
So you said you take that S drop flat?
Yep.
Do you just like go wide into it or something? Because I keep finding
I'm
myself
kinda
lifting.
What are you running setup-wise?
The high downforce sprint with the medium brakes.
If you go in there for your front and rear, change your ARB to 1. Car's gonna want to oversteer, but it's gonna rotate a lot better, and it should help you through there.
They say you cut the cord. You'll have to
Theoretically.
slow down and give up the time gain.
Hey, I made the pit entry this time.
Nice.
Watch your speed limit in the pits. Box in 400 meters.
Pit box in 10. 5,
100 meters.
3, 2,
50
1.
meters.
Right here.
Left front 99%. Left rear 99.
He said,
Front and rear ARB. It's under chassis. You change that value to 1.
my rear ARB is at 1.
What's your front at?
5.
Yeah, change that to 1.
Brake pads are still at medium friction.
Okay, punch it.
Okay, punch it.
Their exit looks clear. Stay behind the line.
Yeah, I think I'm just burnt out. I'm just doing stupid shit.
1 is 2.1 off the
God,
pace.
that bump hurts. The guy with the fastest time is in front of me.
Sector 2 is 3.3 off the pace.
Yeah, I'm just doing stupid shit.
$24.815.
Sector 3 is 0.7 off the pace.
I think I need nitrous.
Sector 1 is 2.3 off the pace.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, car. I saved it. Yes.
$30.16.
Oh, that was an off track.
$22.21. New fastest lap for you.
Hit a 22.2.
Nice.
Sector 1 is 1.9 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, I tweaked this to the point where I've made it slower. Yeah, I made this slower somehow.
Sector 2 is 1.5 off the pace.
And there goes Wig.
Yeah, he never put a lap in.
Maybe his wife called or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Twenty-three point 374.
Sector 3 is 1.2 off the base.
Oh, I saved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else changed. Probably just try again tomorrow. I don't know. I know it's happening at this point. I'm just overdriving it. Turn one, I'm scrubbing a bunch of my speed off.
24.86.
You say that front ARB, what was it, 6?
You told me to turn it to 1.
Yeah, but you said, was it originally 6?
5.
5.
There's
I'm
5.
gonna put it back on 5 just for my memory. My 19008 was looked at 5. So
26.442.
Whoops. I didn't brake. Oh
I saw that in my mirror.
no. I just rode the wall.
You've got wheel damage.
Oh man.
See, now this
We'll need to
car
begin
just
for repairs.
feels
We'll be called in by the stewards.
like a snowplow now. I don't even know how I set up 19008 with this. Well, I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna put it back on the default for high downforce sprint.
Cool.
What does the Le Mans setup do for this car?
I'm not sure. I tried it with the McLaren. I haven't tried it with
try
this.
it with this car.
Sure.
Let's see. My traction control's at 2. My ABS is at 2. My front ARB is at 5. My rear ARB is at 4. Gear stack Daytona. Let's see. You ready for me to beat your time? Okay.
Do it,
I
please.
wish.
Dude, I wish I could beat my time. Like, fuck, dude. Like,
Your exit's clear. Don't cross
pissed
the white
at this
line.
point. I mean, we have a month, but still, it's like, fuck's sake. And it doesn't help. I don't really like driving these damn things to start with, but kind of got it figured out, and now I'm just, again, I think today I'm just burnt out. I'm gonna try to tweak, I'm gonna leave that at 5, I guess. Whatever I end up with here tonight, I'm gonna save this just so I know what I tweaked. So when I jump back in tomorrow, I can just start there.
V11. Sector 1 is 2.7 seconds. Yellow flag.
The setup feels way slower to me.
Around here, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I figured out yesterday. This is definitely a short gear track.
23.754.
Sector 3 is 0.8 off the pace.
Oops. Then again, I hit a 123.7 my first non-out lap
Good.
with the Le Mans
I'm
setup.
I'm
go back
curious.
to the- What are you gonna do?
Just because I'm curious, I'm going back to low friction brake pads. Because that's what comes on this.
Back to what?
Low friction brake pads. Excuse me.
Car in front has just posted a 22.
I think
You're
that
on-
quick
You're on
lap,
low downforce sprint. I mean, a high downforce sprint.
basically that plus what I told you I changed.
Which was what again?
Well, I was gonna say at this point it isn't anything. It'd be high deck. Well, actually, here. You know what? I'm in pit lane. I'll just tell you. I don't think I changed anything actually now. Tires are the same. Downforce is the same. It looks like.
My throttle map setting is on 3. What's a throttle map?
That's throttle map is how your throttle responds. Like 3 would be a linear curve. This is just off the top of my head. 1 I already tried. That's a butterfly shape. It's sort of a slower start and a quick ramp up at the end.
Uh-huh.
And
two
then
is halfway between the boat to 2.
yeah, whatever that means. Probably, I would imagine the opposite.
I'm gonna leave it on
What
3.
I just said then. Yeah, I was gonna say I use linear for the most part on everything. Yeah, like in Husenfeld software, I can mess with all that crap. I can put whatever type of curve I want on the throttle. I've never messed with it though. I don't see any reason to. Some cars that out there do have
It's clear.
weird S-curve throttles, but not anything that I've driven in real life, so. What's up with the trash talk in my lobby?
Quit your jibber jabber.
Yeah, that pre-made chat message always cracks me up. Like, nobody talks like that.
Quit your jibber jabber.
Got a couple cars in front of me here.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag, yellow car.
That's right. Sure what he was doing just sitting there, but he was there.
A little bit of micro lock there.
A12.
Okay.
Yellow flag.
Car stopped on the right.
Just hit that guy. What the hell was he even doing? Oh, did he wreck?
Sector 1 is 2.8 off the pace.
Oh, that was net code. He like reset at the same time as I went by. It was weird.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag, yellow car is still sitting there.
Sector 2 is
I can move
2
him.
seconds off the pace.
He's in the grass. He's not bothering anybody.
He's going through it.
Whoops.
That's 25.389.
Oh, I got it off track.
You can hit the brake incredibly hard with this high downforce trim without locking them.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag, yellow car.
As soon as I say that, just have a massive mock-up. Fried apple French toast bake, Cracker Barrel.
Dude, they put a Cracker Barrel here in Reno. That's such a shitty place, dude.
25.755.
It is bottom of the barrel, but I mean, it's... yeah. It's not the greatest food I've had in the world, but I've also had a lot worse.
Dude, out here even Denny's is better than this Cracker Barrel we got.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Their staff is terrible. They're not consistent. Like,
the thing is, Cracker Barrel. There's only like one thing that's worth getting on the menu I've found, and even that's kind of hit or miss. And that's chicken dumplings. That's about it. I haven't really heard of anybody that likes the place get anything other than that.
Yellow flag.
yellow flag, yellow car.
Oh.
Sector 2 is 1.8 off the fence.
Hopefully tomorrow I'm in the 18th. I should be. Now obviously I'm running quality fuel load because I'm just trying to see what I can get as far as a qualifying lap goes. I know what this runs with half fuel and full fuel. I'm in the 19s, just mid to high 19s, so and that's fine. But yeah, this thing is just incredibly hard. Oh, I guess that is the only other thing that changed in the setup. I'm running 5 gallons.
Sector 3 is 1.2 off the fence.
But
I'm okay.
cutting some grass.
Yeah, you know. Back in 5th grade, my lawnmower days.
One other thing I am going to do, though, I mean, obviously, as I told you, as it gets closer, yeah, I am curious to see what one of the paid things is actually like. Maybe it'll be an aha moment. I don't know. I also just need to work on not overdriving the car. Which is incredibly easy.
Yellow flag. Caution.
.351.
Well, I've got to be at work at 5:30, so I'm gonna hop off here.
Oh,
But I'll leave this up and running. It's up and running still for the next hour. So.
I feel like I must be in burnout mode too, because I'm starting to do progressively worse.
Yeah, I just, well, yeah, I mean, outside of having to be at work early now, yeah, I just need to approach it fresh, because again, I never did GT racing really in the past, so, but I've got a month to work the car out, so, it'll get there. Not too worried about it. Today, you got a lot faster.
Yep.
So that's good. Let me actually see something here, if this will show up. Can I, like, show... There we go, hosted. Let me pull up my hosted results from earlier, and I can show you how fast Connor went. Or no, that was with Nick. Nick did 120. Now let me pull one up that was with Connor, because I knew that we did one at some point. I remember it. Connor did a 124. So yeah, you're quicker than Connor right now.
My average is 125.832. Last 5 average.
Cool.
What was Connor's average?
Connor's average was 130. Like he said, he was in the same boat as you. He's learning the track, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might
We'll-
find something
we'll-
to race
we'll
and work
figure
on
it
my
out.
rating.
Do it. All right, man. Well, I'm heading off here. I'll be on tomorrow after work if you'll be around.
All right, I'll probably give this a few more laps.
Good deal, man. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Hey, what did I change in
Oh.
the settings? Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. What's up?
What was it that I changed when I was doing a little bit better? You said something about the ARB.
Yeah, the
I
front
think it was
one
on
we
5 and I
switched.
turned it to 1.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that again.
cool.
The rear ARB is already at 1. Okay.
I will say I think the car feels better with both of them at 1, but for some reason, you know what? I think tomorrow I'm going to probably start and run them both at 1 because I think by the time I switch that front to 1, I was already burnt out. So I don't know what it's actually going to do for me personally. I do think it feels better at 1 though. The car feels a lot more planted in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm sure.
All right, take care.
Yep. See you, man.
And folks, I need to use the restroom, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back.
Looks like you're clear on pit exit. V14. Sector 1 is 3.0 seconds off the pace.
.966.
Sector 3 is 0.7 off the pace. Sector 2 is 2.3 seconds off the pace.
.168.
Sector 3 is 1.1 seconds off the pace. Sector 1 is 1.8 off the pace. Currently 0.4 seconds off the leader's pace. Sector 3 is 0.7 off the pace.
Pick up the course, you've got to slow down and give up that time.
You need to slow down if you don't want a penalty. V14.
.789.
That's your
23.024.
fastest lap. That puts you 4.3 seconds off the pace. Sector 3 is 0.8 off the pace.
29.676.
Sector 1 is 2.0 seconds off the pace. Front left, 94%. Left rear, 94.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We got 34 minutes of this left? Okay.
Pit exit looks clear. We've got cold tyres, so we need to get some heat into them. This session. Sector 3 is 0.8 off the pace. Sector 1 is 2.0 seconds off the pace.
22.964.
P15, you're now 1.2 off the pace. Sector 3 is 0.8 off the pace.
Whoops. Ugh. What the hell, Wheel? Well, I got a lot to work on. Bing, ding, ding, ding. Let's go ahead and withdraw from this. How long have I been live for today? 3.5 hours. Let's see. Let's look at class D and C. Road. We'll look at sports and formula. Actually, I'll take formula out of the mix. What is the Legend Road Coupe? Oh gosh. That looks funny. Ferrari's at Circuit Zolder. They have a race every hour. GT4s are Indianapolis. I didn't get a chance to race that. The Michelin Pilot Challenge is also Indianapolis. Porsche Cup is on Nürburgring. I haven't done Nürburgring yet. How often do these races go? Schedule. $15-minute race. Every hour at 30 past. There's a lot more people doing that than this one. What's the schedule for this one? 30-minute race. Every odd hour at 30 past. Okay. But there's a fuckload of people doing this one. Are there any GT4 videos? Oh, I can close Photoshop in the background. No, we just painted the new GT4 BMW. Didn't I update this already? Let's see, collections. Yeah, I updated that already. Oh, yeah. Let's go back to collections. No, my collections. Collections. Let's look at the Motor Racing Academy. Oh, I painted the McLaren GT4. I suppose I could race that unless I really want to do the BMW, which I heard the BMW is pretty awesome. Let's flip a coin. Heads McLaren, tails BMW. We'll do the McLaren. We'll also collections. We'll race the BMW. Race this paint. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Are there any resources for me to learn Indy? I think there are. Data packs. Let's see. I'm going to do the McLaren. At Indianapolis. We'll turn the volume up so y'all can hear.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's Virtual Racing School video tutorial for the 570S in Falcon GT4 Challenge. My apologies for the late tutorial this week. As you can see, as you can hear, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I hope it still got to you in a timely fashion so you can get some gains around this lap and hopefully win some races. Let's get stuck in. So for those who haven't seen our data pack pages here on VRS before, down the left-hand side, you'll find the weather and circuit information. In the middle, the lap time, you'll see Yannick was able to achieve a 1:30.7 this week, within 8 thousandths of his optimal, which is exactly like what we like to see from him. As we scroll on down, you'll find the video and telemetry button here. Clicking on this will take you into the VRS lap analyzer where you can then compare your lap against Yannick, assuming of course you are uploading your telemetry using the VRS telemetry logger. In the setup section, you'll find each of the 8 setups that Yannick makes available for the dry races. So at the top 2 renditions of the qualifying setup, these are both minimum fuel to be able to keep the car as light as possible for the standard 2-lap iRacing qualifying format. The safe variant of the setup, as with all safe variants of setups in this data pack, will typically have a little bit more understeer or downforce built into the setup for those struggling with the more aggressive balance, although the setups typically in a capable set of hands like Yannick's are not as fast, so make sure you pick accordingly. As we scroll down, you'll see the 6 renditions of the race set, but really it's 3 with a safe set of each one of those fuel loads. So the top 3 setups you see there, the top one, the standard R set, that is the setup this data pack was driven on, and this has enough fuel as per Yannick's calculations to complete the standard Falcon Tyre race distance, although this does vary with driving technique and style, so please always go and check your own fuel numbers just to be totally sure. There's also the Endurance and IMSA Pilot Sport Challenge versions of the setups, which have 100% and 80% fuel, sort of accordingly, depending on the series that you're racing. So choose accordingly. As you head over to the wet section, there is a wet version of each of the sort of race setups that we just discussed and the qualifying setup as well. So if you do get a wet race, I think the odds are pretty low this week, but if you do get a wet race, pick one of those setups based on the race length that you're completing. In the other files section, the BLAP and OLAP, these are Delta files. If you download them and place them in the the correct lap file folder for Indianapolis Road Course, and rename the first 6 digits to your iRacing user ID, that will make that lap that Yannick drove in this data pack equivalent to yours in the Delta function. So as you run the Delta, you'll be able to chase him live as you drive, see where you're faster and slower. This is a really helpful function, so give it a go. The replay is also available there. Extracting this into the replay directory will allow you to watch the lap from any perspective you like. And as you scroll down, you'll find each lap that Yannick drove throughout his session, culminating in that 30.7. As usual, in qualifying, the second fastest lap will usually be the fastest. The car will go a couple tenths quicker, and you can see that in the data here. You'll see Yannick was able to go a little bit quicker on that second lap. So let's hit video and telemetry and get stuck into this lap. Indy road course, tricky track. I think people tend to have sort of a love or hate relationship with this track. They either really love it or they really don't love it. For me, I quite enjoy this track. A lot of people will call me crazy for this, but I preferred the track before they changed it. Like the older version of the circuit, I actually really enjoyed that track, but nonetheless, this track is a little bit more sort of flowing compared to the previous version, so it's a lot more fun to drive is probably the best way to put it. So let's get stuck into it. So as we head on down towards turn one, obviously big braking zone, we're coming down off the oval. So we've got a lot of speed and we've got a heap of brake markers over here to play with. So we're going to be looking towards the 500 board on the left-hand side. Obviously it's not meters, it's a different measurement, probably feet or yards. As we hit the 500 board, that's where we're going to be braking. Straight up to our peak pressure here, we sustain pressure for quite some time into turn one. As I say, it's a big stop. So you're going to sustain this sort of 85 to 90% brake pressure for a good 100 meters here. And then our turn-in point is going to be as we're passing the 100 board on the left-hand side. Trailing in, obviously, as we turn in, the car will not be able to turn if you sustain that 80 or 90% brake pressure all the way to the apex. So we do need to trail off the brake and allow some grip to be available for the car to turn. But we do want to trail as well, keep a little bit of brake on to help the car rotate through here. This fundamentally is a chicane, as much as it doesn't really feel like it when you drive it. It's a really elongated chicane. So the same sort of rules from chicanes that normally apply do apply here. So what we've effectively got is we've got a right-left, and the more we sacrifice the right, the better off we're going to be through the left. I think in reality, because there's a little bit of a gap between this right and left, it's not full sacrifice. Like you will see Yannick is going to use a fair bit of road on the left-hand side, but he will give up a little bit just so he can be as close to flat through this next left as possible. Obviously, he's not going to be able to take it flat, but we're aiming to carry a lot of speed through this next left. So you'll see, as a result, he's aiming for a relatively late apex through this right. He wants to get as close to this sausage curb, which he has, without actually hitting it. This curb is brutal, by the way, so if you hit it, it will really destabilize the car. So we want to get close to it because, again, the further to the right we can be, the more it opens up the left. But you know, we don't want to hit it because hitting it will really destabilize the car. But see how he's sort of late apex through here and it leaves him probably a car width to the left-hand side. That will allow him to open up this next left more, flow more speed through here and get a better effective exit from this turn 1-2 complex than what he otherwise would have had. So again, from about mid-track, our inflection point on our steering, so our point where we go from turning right to left, is roughly where the pit lane line ends here on the right-hand side. So see there, that's where he turns the car to the left, and that will bring him round to a late apex through this left-hander, which again allows a better effective exit. So on the inflection point, you'll notice he also dabs the brake a little bit as he gets a little bit closer to the apex as well. Again, all concerning making the car turn. It's not a big brake. We're talking like 15% here. It's just a dab of the brake to help the car rotate through this left-hander here. From there, we should have a pretty good exit. We're firing down this little bit of a straight to the right. We've got this awkward right-hander coming up where we've got sort of one right, a bit of a straight between them, and then the track will tighten to another right-hander. That next right-hander after this one is really important because it's a long straight. So exit speed off the next right-hander is super key. So we need to drive that accordingly. So you'll see Yannick lets the car flow out towards the outside of the track, but he needs to brake quite early to get this car rotated here. So the braking point is about halfway between where this blue and white curb on the right-hand side ends and where the blue and white curb on the left side starts. So about halfway between there, that's where we're braking. He'll lean on it quite slowly, to start with. and then builds brake pressure as he straightens the steering wheel. So you'll see as he straightens the wheel, he increases his brake pressure, standard modulating the brake depending on what the wheel's doing. So straightening out towards the outside, nicks the outside curb on the left, and then trails off as he starts turning again. Here, you'll notice he generally uses quite a low brake pressure through here. It's no more than about 40%, and that's because the car, even though it does straighten briefly in the middle, it's kind of constantly in a turning state. So we really need the car to rotate through here, and we don't want to use too much brake, which will obviously affect that rotation. So trailing off from here into this one, and we're aiming to apex quite late. So you'll see the apex point is probably about here, as the end of the curb is starting to come into our sort of frontal vision, and we're well and truly on the throttle by this point as well, because we really want to maximize exit and use every bit of track on the outside here. Obviously, we do want to get it back, but this chicane should be easy flat. So remember our 3 rules of flat out corners. Be smooth with the wheel, use the least amount of wheel input as possible, and take the shortest line you can. Do these 3 things and you should be able to carry a lot of speed through here. You have to really munch this curb on the right to take it flat. It doesn't feel nice, but it is faster to do it that way. So munch that curb, straighten that exit, and then
Munch
slow
that
speed
curb.
down this straight. So now we've got the 7, 8, 9, 10 complex coming up, and fundamentally, once again, guys, this is a big chicane, is basically all this is. So we've got a couple priorities through here. Obviously, our most important priority is the run off turn 10, which is the last right-hander. So what we've got here is we've got a left that then goes right into a tightening left, and each one of those first 3 corners is tighter than the previous one. So it kind of truncates down into this tightening sequence of left, right, left, and then it opens up to a bit of a straight for the next right-hander. And that next right hand is the really important one because it leads onto the straight. So exit speed off there is key, and there will be an element of sacrifice to every element of this, every component of this chicane complex to allow yourself to sort of prioritize the exit of the final direction change as much as possible. So as we come up here, we've got a bunch of brake marker boards to play with, but I think in this case, the brake marker boards aren't actually super helpful because we're going to use this little tarmac strip to the right hand side where this gate is. So see right there where that tarmac patch is on the right, that's our brake marker. Straight up to our peak pressure here, which is about 90%. Our turn in point is as we reach this last brake marker board on the right hand side, the 100 board. Up there, that's our turn in point trailing off. And again, this is one of those sausage curves, just like the ones we talked about at turn 1, where you want to get really close to it, but you don't want to hit it because it's really steep and really nasty. So trail the brake into there, use as much of the road to the left without hitting the curb that you can, and then back to the throttle. And this is one of those corners where you talk a little bit about sacrifice. You'll see Yannick has left half a car width to the right-hand side because that's going to allow him to get the car still back to mid-track. Turns the car to the right while flat, and then as he sort of reaches the start of the curb on the right hand side, then he trails the brake, puts a little bit of weight on the nose, helps slow the car, and cuts this chicane as much as he can. And again, the whole point of that is it puts the car as far to the right as he possibly can, which will then effectively open up the next left. So then on the inflection points, as he turns the car from the right to the left, he'll trail the brake again. And again, he probably didn't need to here. He probably could have taken that flat, and this is where this chicane methodology becomes really important. So see here on the direction change, as I say, from right to left, he trails the brake, cuts the curb as much as he can, and he does get back to the throttle, but you'll notice, with that little bit of a trail of the brake he's had, he's kept the car in the left-hand 50% of the road. And the whole point of that is to make sure that he has the widest possible entry that he could possibly have into this next right-hander and can effectively flow more speed through it and then down the next straight, which is the entire sort of point of the chicane methodology, is that your exit speed is most important. So by sort of flowing speed through this final direction change, by opening up the entry, which he's only able to do by sort of, having this little bit of a trail of the brake back here, that will allow him to flow more speed down the next straight and gain more net time than what he would have gained by taking this left-hander flatter and then losing exit speed. So again, puts the car further to the left. On the change of direction, he grabs the brake, cuts this one as much as he can. Again, this is all about exit. The further to the right we can be, the more track we have to our left, and thus the earlier we can open the steering and get on the throttle. So see from there, Yannick using all of the track on the way out to widen that exit speed. And now he's got good top end down this straight as he heads up towards the next braking zone. Now the next braking zone is a little bit awkward. We want to keep the car tight through this right-hander to save our distance for as long as we can, but then we need to let the car float out towards the outside wall to straighten the braking zone for the next right-hander. This track's so funny. Like turn 1, they've got way too many brake marker boards, but here they don't have enough, in my opinion. You're going to be braking before the 300 board here, which is the first marker board on the left. The way I sort of imagine the braking point here is see the gap between each one of those marker boards, be it 100 yards or 100 feet or whatever it is between each one. If you imagine where a 400 board would be, that's where we're going to be braking. So it sounds silly, but imagine where the next one of these sort of brake marker boards would logically be. That's where you want to brake. You'll notice that Yannick's brake ramp here is a little bit slower. He takes his time getting to the brake, and that's because as he initially hits the brake, he's still turning to the right. So kind of similar to what we talked about earlier in the lap as we head into turn 4, is you sort of initially hit the brake quite slow, but you build brake pressure as he straightens the wheel. So you'll see here up to about 90% at his true peak. Turn-in point is just before the 100 board on the left-hand side. And we've got the last one of these nasty sausage curbs to contend with. So again, we don't want to cut this one. We want to get as close to it as we can without cutting it. But we also want to make sure our apex is quite late here, because again, this next left-hander that we have coming up leads us onto the main straight. So even though these are quite spaced, these two corners, the chicane methodology still applies of we don't want to sort of gain heaps of time in turn 12 when in turn 13 the exit is so important. So you'll see trailing the brake towards our late apex. That'll just position us nicely so that the car's sort of nice and straight at this point. Again, we use most of the road on the left-hand side. There's not a lot of sacrifice here because there is a big gap between these two corners. But notice how on the exit, sort of Yannick hasn't driven all the way to the grass and the car's still facing a lot more straight than what it otherwise would. Like it's not scrubbing and understeering towards the outside. So that sort of subtle late apex through turn 12 sort of helps position the car nicely and helps him get to about 3/4 track from the left-hand side here into turn 13. Now, turn 13, two things I think are really important. One is you need to make sure that you turn in really early here. The reason for that is because you're crossing from the left-hand side to the right, not only do we need to turn the 160 degrees or whatever the corner is, but we also need to get the car parallel with the white line on the outside. So because we're crossing the track, we've got not only the corner to contend with, but also getting straight before the corner to contend with. So we have to turn the car in earlier to turn that larger radius, larger yaw rate, if that makes sense. As we get to our widest point on the outside, so we're turning before we actually lift off the throttle here, but as we get to our widest point on the outside, sort of as we kind of start to nick the outside white line, that's where we brake. And because we're turning and braking at the same time, we've got a hard 25% max on our brake pressure here. So it's just a trail. We're just helping scrub some speed, put the weight on the nose, gradually building brake pressure. Don't be afraid to carry a little bit of entry speed into here, because even though we turn in early, we still want to apex late. So see, the apex point still needs to be all the way around here. This inside curb, you'll see, has a sort of wider section on its inside. So see how the curb's sort of one curb's width, and then further around here it gets a bit wider. Where it gets... Hang on, video's just frozen. Give me a sec, come on. As the curb gets wider, right at the end of it, so right there where the curb starts to get narrow again, that's our apex point, and we're on the throttle well before that in a standard late apex fashion, because we really want to carry exit speed down onto this next straight. And from here, this last right-hander